I'm going to be showing you the most underrated deck in Deer Days 2. Kairi is the most slept on deck in this game, allowing you to go blind second every game and denying first drive from Stride deck set, and having a powerful turn 3 with the grade 4 Kairi allows you to have 5 big attacks by drawing multiple cards and having a good early game. In Kairi, we run the Bermuda Ride line. This includes the best starter, Shizuku, Mermaid Idol Sedna. When rode upon by Aqua, you can Soul Blast 1, look at top 7 for a grade 2 or greater card, and add it to your hand. Mermaid Idol Aqua has a similar effect. When rode by a grade 3 Mermaid, you can look at the top 5 card for a grade 2 or greater and add it to your hand. The grade 3 Kairi has the effect of when it attacks, you can Soul Blast 1 to bounce 2 of your rearguards back to hand, because normally you want to be ride skipping into the grade 4 Kairi, hence why we don't run any Persona Ride. The grade 4 Kairi has 2 effects. The first one being, all your rearguards placed this turn get 5k, and another effect, when this unit attacks, if your soul has a card with Kairi in its name, you can choose 2 of your rearguards, return them to your hand, then choose 2 cards from your hand and then call them to rearguard. This card, also being a grade 4, has triple drive, which is very important. Yasmin is the card that makes the whole deck work. If your opponent is on grade 3, you can CB1, shuffle this back into your deck, and ride a grade 4 Kairi. You want to draw this as soon as possible, since this is your key card for your entire deck to work, and you can't search it with your ride line. So the only way to get this card is by hard drawing into it. It also has another effect that's a 15k shield if you're on the grade 4 Kairi. Penelope is your restand for the deck. When you bounce a front row rearguard with the Kairi Vanguard effect, you can Soul Blast 1, stand Penelope's whole column, allowing you to attack with her again. And if you're on grade 4, she gives the whole front row 5k power as well. She also gains 5k if you're on a Kairi Vanguard, making it easy to hit really big numbers on your grade 4 turn. And this is one of your only going first options, since this also triggers with the grade 3 Kairi effect as well. Roulette is another very important card. It's a 15k booster grade 2, perfect behind a grade 4 Kairi or Walterbringer, the next card we're going to be talking about. She also has another skill. At the end of turn, you can CB1, put this card into Soul, draw a card, and bounce 2 rearguards back to your hand as well. This helps dodge mass removal decks like Shoujo Doji and allows you to keep your key pieces in hand, or your 15k shields for guarding. Walterbringa is one of my favorite cards in the deck. If discarded for the grade 3 ride, you can draw a card. If you play this while you're on grade 4 or have a grade 4 in your hand, you can CB1 to draw a card and get 10k. Walterbringa has another effect. When placed in the Guardian Circle, if you have a grade 4 Vanguard or have one in your hand, you can make this a 15k shield, making both its effects really strong. Bracia is your generic lyrical energy cycler, allowing you that when it's guarded or discarded by the ride deck, to Energy Blast 3 to draw 1 card. This deck doesn't use any energy, so it's the perfect card for the draw power as well. Valfair is the newest card added to this deck, and it's a very strong card, allowing you to soul charge 1 place for free, and then CB1 to draw a card if you soul charge. This pair with Yuka makes for a really good early grade 2 game, allowing you to bounce Valfair back forever and making good columns. But later in the game, this card does fall off a little since you will have access to Walterbringer instead. Yuka is one of the most versatile lyrical generic cards. Allowing you to use her early with Valfair, like I mentioned before, is good. With grade 4 Kairi skill and her own skill makes her 18k booster, and putting that behind a Penelope allows you to hit for 38k and then restands for 43, and that's with no trigger effects. The rest of the deck is pretty standard. 4 heals, 1 OT, 3 draws, and 8 crit. You could run fronts as well, but you already hit such big numbers that fronts really don't change that much. Draws are really good at stabilizing your early game, allowing you to make it to your grade 4 Kairi turns. Bright Sky is the best OT for this deck. You have no removable Kairi, and you already hit big numbers within the deck, so you really don't need the lyrical OT. Your weakest column is normally your grade 4 Vanguard if you don't have a booster, so normally they would just hard guard the Vanguard and then PG the rear guards. So if you hit OT, you can just retire all their Guardians, hit anyways, and still have a place to put the 100 million power. And if you hit yellow OT earlier, it allows you to draw 4 cards deeper into your deck for your key pieces. The Regalia's piece we chose for this deck is Twin Cast. Since you're on grade 4, Twin Cast actually becomes a 20k shield from drop. We also run the new Elementaria Sanctitude. Since we're running a grade 4 deck, we can't run that old one. So with all that said, let's show off a basic grade 4 Kairi turn. Alright, so this is what a basic Kairi turn will look like. So we're going to start off by discarding a card from our hand to ride the grade 3 Kairi. We're going to first resolve Preca's skill, Energy Blasting 3 to draw a card. We're also then going to use Aqua's skill. Let's look at top 5 for a grade 2 or greater and add it to our hand. Let's add the Walperinger because it's another 15k shield to our hand. So we're actually going to call the Yuika one of our Yuikas. We have 2 of them. We're going to call one of them behind Vanguard. We're going to call this Yasmin. Use Yasmin's effect. And ride. We're supposed to ride from deck. Oops. We're supposed to ride from deck. but we ride from drop instead. Since a card was placed, it doesn't have to be a rear guard actually, it can be anything. This would get 5k. The reason why we put it here is because we don't value our Vanguard swing as much as our rear guards. And we only have one Hule, so we're gonna call a Hule over here, call a Welcome Bringer over here. We're actually gonna use this skill since we have a lot of CV to use. Draw a card. We drew a heal, which is bad. Call Yuika over here. Call Penelope over here. So this is what a standard Kairi board looks like. Normally we want another Hule here behind Vanguard, but we were able to get our Yuika up to 18k, so it's almost hitting good numbers. Not quite. So we have two columns here. We have a 38k column and we have a 48k column. We're gonna start with the 38k column first. They're probably gonna take this. They only have 4 cards in their hand. They did get a defensive draw. That's okay. We're not going to use Yuika here. Going to attack with 48. They still need 25k to guard this after getting defensive. They didn't get defensive this time, so we're good. Now they're at 4. Now we swing over Vanguard. Vanguard's going to bounce this column, the right column, to our hand. So we'll bounce these 2 back, and then we'll just replay the same 2 cards, making sure to call this the back row, this the front row. Now a couple triggers activate. Start with this one. Gets an extra 5k and boost again. We'll do Welcome. We'll CB1 a draw card and get another 10k. We drew another. That's all 15k shields in our hand right now. Soul Blast, restand, front row gets another 5k. So Vanguard's be hitting for 36. They will perfect guard that. Triple drive. Nothing. 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 Okay, we didn't get any triggers. That's okay. They still only have 3 cards in hand. So now we'll swing with this. Hit for 43. They take it. Nothing. That's good for us. We will use Yuka now. Make sure to keep that Kairi and Soul. Bounces back to our hand for next turn. And we'll attack for 53. They need 30k. Probably a perfect guard. They do have another perfect guard, so we won't kill them this turn. But I can show you the end of turn stuff too. They're down to 1 card in hand. They took 3 damage this turn. That's through double perfect guard and defensive draw. So at end of turn, we can do this now, which will CB1, put this into Soul. We'll bounce these 2 cards back to our hand. And now we have a 11 card hand. And that's how you play Kairi. So that's how Kairi plays. The biggest weakness of this deck is that you always have to go second. Going first with Kairi feels kind of bad since you won't be able to use Yasmin. And not having Penelope also hurts as well, since that is what enables your really big plays. But you could always do 5 attacks without it. This deck does use a good amount of Soul as well. And you can't Soul Blast out your grade 3 Kairi or you'll lose your Vanguard effect, which is bad. But even with all those downsides, the deck is very strong. Pretty much every card in your deck will draw you a card or gain power or hit really big numbers. I still believe this deck is much better than Michu, and I find it to be a tier 1.5 deck just under the current meta of Toshioji, Shiranui, Varga. I'd probably put it in the same tier as Leonore and Ava. I highly recommend you try out this deck for yourself and you will be surprised by the results. That's all I have for you guys this week. If you want to see more, I have made other videos like the strongest decks in Gear Days 2. I also do live streams here on YouTube and on Twitch. So please subscribe if you want to see those as well. Thank you again for all your wonderful support, and I'll see you next time. Bye!